Well, this has also sparked other conversations. The allegations made by Meghan and Harry have renewed conversation on whether the crown has a place in our country today. Constitutional experts told CTV News it's very unlikely that Canada would cut ties with the monarchy, as it would be a complicated process of constitutional reform. So, the question is out there. It's been out there. This is not a new conversation, but let me put it to you. Should Canada cut ties with the British monarchy?
Let me right away go to Jacqueline on Facebook, who writes to us, does Canada actually benefit from being a part of the monarchy? And that is a very fair question, Jacqueline. Maybe more people than ever are asking that question. My answer to that is yes. Yes, we do, in fact, benefit still being a constitutional monarchy. So let's look at the practical side of things. Saying it because maybe you don't have a connection to the Queen. We are an increasingly diverse population. But the question is the practicality. What prime minister is going to start the conversation to say, so, hey, guys, I think one of the most pressing issues of our country is that we need to change from a constitutional monarchy to perhaps a republic. The closest and biggest republic that we know is the United States of America. And I would be hard-pressed to find a ton or a majority of Canadians who say, ooh, that's the system we want, over some Canadians who would say, we much prefer the fashioning of our democracy after Britain. So I say that I don't have any statistics to back that up. But after having lived through a post-Trump era now, we are in the post-Trump era, I think a lot of Canadians started to ask themselves, what's so broken with that system? Because it's clearly broken. I don't know that you're going to convince people.
The execution of it, you have to understand. The execution of it is broken. I don't know that itself it's broken. Like the actual idea of it is broken. I do think that a lot of Canadians would like to vote for who their head of state is directly instead of voting for a party. I mean, I think we've talked about it on this show where, we don't get a say in terms of who is our prime minister. There's no box on the ballot that says I like this person, or this person, which is a different thing from the party I choose to run in my to rule my municipality.
That's part of it, but that means that's part of it, but that means you would have to adopt the entire system. And basically, what we see in the United States, and some would argue here, is a two-party system down there is not working for them, at least from my point of view.
Well, to answer this question, first you have to understand the system, understand the Commonwealth. And let me just humble brag for a second here. I apparently, along with like 85% of Canadians, don't have a firm grasp on it, and therefore don't have a firm grasp on what the consequences would be if we lost it, besides like having different looking currency. And I bet most people who are calling to abolish the monarchy, particularly on Twitter, know nothing about the Constitution and the pros and cons. I mean, the crown is everywhere. Just think about the courts, laws issued in the Queen's name. We have crown attorneys who work and operate in her name, but it's rarely taught in school.
I will just
I think
point
people
out
also are upset
stat.
about the $50 million a year that is being spent. Go ahead, Pooja. It's the $50 million. I'm just going to say that.
Yeah, I will just say that there was actually a poll that was done recently, end of February, and this was by Research Co. They said 45% of Canadians prefer to have an elected head of state versus the Queen. So when you look at the numbers as well, that is a high number, higher than it's ever been before. And we've been having this conversation for many, many years. But still, it does speak to people who are still very much tied to the monarchy and who do not want to see things change. And I think it can be a little sensitive as well for a lot of people. Also thinking about what this is really about. Is it about this connection to the monarchy, or is it also just not having faith in what happens next with Prince Charles maybe being king? I don't think a lot of people have a faith in him.
I think it's about our identity, though. I think what it comes down to is who are we, right? And I think as we're having these conversations around, indigenous, our indigenous peoples and how we have not served them, I think that juxtaposed with these conversations around the monarchy, and I think we're all
I have a lot to say about
crisis.
that.
Well, yeah, I think that's a great point, Cynthia, and I think it speaks to your earlier point. I think it speaks to your earlier point about like why we fetishize a certain type of royalty, like specifically white royalty. There are other royal families around the world, but there's something about the British royalty that is like glorified and fetishized in a way that's becoming a little bit uncomfortable. From the accent to, I don't know, like the scepters and whatnot. It's very strange in these times.
I guess the question moving forward will be, is it revolution or is it rebellion or reform? Anyway.